Hello! As I am filming this video, Godzilla Minus One is returning to theaters again for Halloween. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it because it is a treat. Even if you don't like Godzilla, especially if you don't like Godzilla, because this is not the best Godzilla movie. This is one of the best movies, period. But that's not why I'm doing a video. I am doing a video because this movie only cost $15 million to make. How did Japan make one of the best sci-fi blockbuster films of all time for only $15 million? This movie has shown the entire world an important lesson on how far we've gotten lost in our thinking around product development and product management. Let me explain. Godzilla Minus One came out in late 2023 and has just recently become available on Netflix and digital streaming, and of course is just now being re-released into theaters, which is giving me a good excuse to continue this video. Now, $15 million is still a lot of money, of course. No argument there, but compared to its rather terrible siblings, it's amazing. For example, the American movie that released around the same time, Godzilla x Kong, cost $135 billion, and that was a piece of trash. Ant-Man Quantumania, for those of you who have seen it, I'm sorry, but we all know how good that was. That cost a whopping $192.3 million. The Justice League, if you remember that mess, cost $300 billion. But let me take a minute and show you a clip from Honest Trailers because they summed this up perfectly.
So this is what 15 million looks like. And this is 100, 15, 100, 15, 100? Make it make sense.
So, how did Toho Studio in Japan do it? What was the answer? Well, you might be saying to yourself, Japanese celebrities are probably just cheaper than American celebrities. And I assume that's probably true. But that doesn't explain the entire difference, and it also doesn't explain why it was good, it just explains why it was cheaper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how Godzilla Minus One was produced, and compare that to the way we currently try to produce these things. First, Godzilla Minus One was written and directed by Takashi Yamazaki. Takashi started his career in visual effects. And it was a while before he finally got his first actual director role. Let me translate that into corporate speak. Takashi was both the project manager and architect of this movie. He started his career as a developer and worked for over a decade before getting promoted into management. Good? Moving on. Because of his experience in special effects, Takashi was able to plan ahead and make sure that every scene, every shot was designed, set up, built, and filmed in such a way as to set up the special effects team for success ahead of time. So, to translate that into corporate speak, Takashi used his past experience as a developer to make sure when setting up the project requirements and architecture, he wasn't asking for anything that was unreasonable, would go above budget, or impractical to do with the current tools at hand. Moving on. Another benefit of Takashi's time in actually doing special effects means that he knew what intangible and ineffable characteristics to look for in a great team to help him develop the movie. He wasn't just looking through resumes or trying to tick off boxes. He knew the heart, soul, and temperament of the kind of people he needed to work with. He also works very hard to make sure that his team is comfortable and feels safe working close together in a collaborative environment, building a strong sense of cohesion and unity amongst his team. To translate that into corporate speak, I don't know how to translate that into corporate speak. Finally, once the filming is complete, Takashi worked on site with his entire production team, both editing and visual effects. He did this so that he could provide feedback in real time and collaborate in person with everyone on the project. So everything was done at once together in a close-knit team that felt comfortable talking with each other. I would say that this translates best to what we call agile development. But anyone who's a developer knows everyone does agile these days, but no one does agile anymore. Now you might be thinking, Chris, there's nothing magical in what you just described about how this movie was made. And you'd be right. And there is nothing magical until you compare it to our current madness around project management and product development. All these movies that we have compared this to were done under the current corporate insanity of project management and product development. You see, we have reduced everything to a commodity. Writing, design, special effects, and graphics, or anything that was once considered an art, is now just considered a skill set. But most of all, production work isn't done in tight-knit teams anymore. It's outsourced to buckets of contractors in silos. Each step of production is done in its own bucket or silo of work. You contract a team of writers, then you contract a director, then you contract for production, then you contract for special effects. Then you realize the whole thing is a mess and you try to hire a new director to clean it up. Here's a back and forth to help make this comparison clear. Godzilla. Entire team led by one person with cross-functional skills and expertise. Good. Crap is produced with many people at different stages being in charge, all with a myopic view of their own domain or agenda. Godzilla. An actual team of people work together and collaborate towards a common goal they believe in. Crap. There is no team. There's just groups of people in different buckets, depending on their skill set, each who communicate with each other entirely through emails and conference calls. Godzilla. Collaborations happen in real time among people who trust each other and feel open to talk and share ideas. Crap. Information flows down through to-do lists, waterfall charts, schedules. Information is unclear and changes depending on which higher-up is giving input. Godzilla. Everyone is personally invested in the success of the project, and they know their individual contributions are part of their reputation in the industry. Crap. No one cares. Everyone knows they're replaceable. There's no reputation, just soulless resumes to fill out like spec sheets in a car lot. Anyone out there in video game or software development, construction, or any profession where the goal is to create something knows that this mindset exists everywhere and continues to grow across just about every industry. It's even a big part of our issues in healthcare. It is an illusion, basically a religion at this point, that anything that can be done well can be done good enough instead for cheaper. It's an idea that sounds great. It gets investors excited, it passes boards easily, and it gets really terrible people promoted quickly. The reason I say it's an illusion is because as reality shows and Godzilla's proved, and this year continues to roll out turd after turd that shows us this is a reality, the more you try to squeeze and save money at the expense of quality, the more time and money it actually ends up making in the end anyway. It feels like you save money when you burn and churn through employees to keep wages low, but then you realize no one with any real talent will work for you. But what does all this have to do with project management or product development? Well, it boils down to a simple idea. We thought we could replace leaders with managers. A great team leader has good project management skills, for sure, no question. But while a good leader might have a project manager on their team, we thought we could replace the leader altogether and just have the product manager. Now I want to add that it's not just having a leader to hold everything together across a team. It's also valuing the idea of cross-functionality. Takashi knew a little bit, at least, about every part of the movie's process. He was hands-on at some point in his career at every single stage. This allowed him to understand, to empathize, to relate to every single person that had to help him make this a masterpiece. And cross-functionality is also something that gets lost in our siloed bucket skill set checking mindset, because it's very hard for cross-functional people to grow their careers. We have become addicted to specialization. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest resume writing advice you'll get if you look is to specialize your resume. If you're someone who's good at graphic design and programming, you have to take out the programming when you apply for a graphic design job. And then when you apply for a programming job, you have to take out the graphic design work. Because everyone thinks if you're good at two things, that means you're not good at two things. So the market has become extremely hostile to cross-functional and cross-pollinating leaders or team members who can help connect and glue these pieces together when it comes to a project. And frankly, it's killing the quality of everything. The modern HR machine just doesn't know how to hire or process or place people that are good at many different things. But most people I know are good at more than one thing. Will we ever learn and escape this madness? Well, kind of. As of writing this, Disney has just announced that they've learned their lesson, at least somewhat, and they're bringing back the idea of a showrunner, meaning they have acknowledged the fact that trying to reproduce all this stuff without a central vision leader or someone cross-functional to hold the project together was probably a bad idea, and their ratings have certainly taken a hit for it. So that's good news. If Disney can learn, maybe everyone else can. Also, in the wake of the video game industry slump, Square Enix has announced that they are going to be slowing down producing better quality products at a slower rate. They realize that constantly dumping half-finished products on the masses has hurt their business and reputation. Also good. However, also at the time of writing this, you may have heard about this movie called Borderlands, which pretty much bombed and went straight to digital. Borderlands also being a complete poster child for corporate development. The truth is that this is a cyclical issue. As companies reach certain market thresholds, they panic and look for ways to grow their profits. The voice in the room promising to cut costs and maximize efficiency too often seems like the only path forward. After that person, who is usually an MBA by the way, destroys customer confidence and ruins the brand, the companies sometimes sober up and realize that they have gone astray, or just sell to a bigger company. So the point I am afraid of in this video isn't to offer really any hope of changing anything, as much as it is just to be a beacon of light and a shoulder to cry on for all of you who find yourselves stuck in such a corporate mindset. It's not you, it's them. Now, let's all comfort ourselves by going back and watching Godzilla Minus One.